Hello everyone and welcome to the Cyclical Investors Club YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be analyzing British American tobacco stock. This one came in by request down in the comments section of one of my other videos. Usually I only post stocks that are in the S&P 500 for free here on YouTube, but British American Tobacco is it's a big giant company. It probably would be in the S&P 500 if it wasn't based out of Britain, and they actually own a lot of the cigarette market in the US. So, and I have owned it before, and I'm probably not going to be buying it again. So I thought I would just go ahead and kind of share my thoughts on it here for everyone and give everybody a little holiday gift analysis with British American Tobacco. So if you have a request, drop it down in the comments section. I'll get it on the whiteboard behind me. If it's an S&P 500 stock, I usually post those on YouTube for free, and then the rest I post on Patreon for $5 a month, and then in the full Cyclical Investors Club premium service where we have all the spreadsheets that you see here, chat room where you can chat with me, a bunch of other articles and things like that. That link will be down in the description, and if you join Patreon, you get a big discount there, so that's a way to get some money off. As usually, this is not investing advice. This is just how I analyze stocks and how I think about them. So, looking at British American Tobacco, I think I'm just going to kind of get right to the nitty gritty. Well, I'll give you a little bit of a background. I did own this for a little while. I think I bought it on this 2018 dip. Well, before that, I owned Lorillard. I think that's how you say the name. In my daughter's account, I don't know, back in the 2010 somewhere, and they got bought out by, I can't remember the order of the deal. I think they got bought out by Reynolds, who then got bought out by British American Tobacco. But don't hold me to that. Anyway, I did really well on that for her, and eventually there was a big price drop in 2018, and I bought British American Tobacco right in here. And then I held it for like a couple years, and I basically, with the dividend, I basically like broke even on it. I'm not sure if, I'm sure I sold it before 2020. Maybe I lost a little bit of money. Yeah, like a couple percent or whatever. Because the dividend was pretty high, so if you just hung on to it, then it kind of made up for some of these price losses that they had. So I think the story here is pretty simple. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in it because it pays like a 9% dividend yield right now. Although it looks like the yield, this probably fluctuates because of currency, but they might actually lower the let me check actually. Let me look in British pounds and see if I can find it. Let's see. I think it has a different ticker. British and London Exchange, BATS. There we go. Okay, so we look at the dividend in pounds, and actually it has not gone down. Which is what I figured. So this is in British pounds instead of US dollars. So if you look at it in US dollars, it can fluctuate more because of the currency exchange that's taken into account on this fast graph. So if we look in just British pounds, we can see that it pays a steady dividend, and that's probably attracting people. I would not buy the stock for the dividend, although I would say they will. Here's what will happen. Like, it's high enough now. Let's see what it is here. Yeah, like still 9 to 10%. Really, so the way I would think about it is, if you take a 9% dividend, you could probably earn all your money back in about, I would say 8 or 9 years, probably like 8 years. I'm just doing the math in my head. Maybe a little bit sooner. So what the math that you would be doing, just if you're just dealing with the dividend, is, are they going to cut or eliminate the dividend, or do some transaction like AT&T did, right, where the dividend kind of, it gets cut, but there's a bunch of other stuff going on, M&A wise. Is that going to happen before I am able to collect enough money from the dividend to make it worth it? So at least the dividend's high enough to make that an interesting question. But I would say that given where inflation has been, um, if we have 4% inflation over this period, past 5 years or something, a year, and you're getting, like, even if we just took this dip out of it, let's just maybe let's go back to just here and say, look, you picked the price close to the price bottom there. You didn't buy too soon. Well, you're making a little less than 6% a year total return. Inflation during this time has been about 4%, 3 or 4%. So we're looking at what, a couple percent a year is all you're making above inflation. It's probably better than most bonds, so, but it's not a great return. So for me, when I look at this, and I do track it in my spreadsheet, this right here is the 3-year revenue number. Let me move my head just a little bit here. So this is the cumulative revenue growth over the course of 3 years. I haven't updated it this month, but it really hasn't changed much the past few years. Basically, revenue has not grown as fast as inflation has grown. Now, maybe they can raise prices and do that going forward. Possible, but they aren't doing it right now. It's not totally negative, so I mean, that's good. It's just negative in real terms. Earnings growth reflects the same. So this is cumulative, so this is like 1% a year, okay? 1% nominal revenue growth over the past 3 years per year. This is annual, so earnings have actually grown a little bit faster than revenues, but not much. I mean, again, lower than inflation. So to me, this is a declining company. I mean, it should be obvious to anybody who just thinks about like the cigarette business and vaping and all the other stuff that they do, tobacco. But it's a declining business, and the question is really, how much in dividends can you extract before these guys just become like owned by bondholders, pretty much. I think that time's probably here, and so I just don't buy these type of stocks. Once this really gets, below like 10% over cumulative for 3 years, this gets below like 4%, I'm just not interested in buying it. So it's probably not going to fall off a cliff. It's probably going to be like a slow process where they're slowly sending money back to shareholders, but the amount of time, the price is going to adjust to that because the business isn't growing, which is what we see here. Like this trend here, this is the trend of the future, right? It might not be that fast. Maybe we'll start it back before the pandemic. It's probably more like something like this. You lose like 2% a year. Inflation takes another couple percent a year. And then you start thinking, okay, well, you're getting this dividend. This includes the dividend, by the way. So to me, these just aren't the type of stocks that I want to own. And I can, especially now when there's a lot of retirees that kind of want the high dividends. So they're just paying a lot for them. And for me, I just don't find it very interesting. In 2018, I didn't see much value in the market. The market was kind of expensive and it was on sale, so I thought I'd take a chance on it. And even then, I think it didn't really work out. I either lost a little or just broke even with the dividends, which is probably what everybody's going to do long term here, unless there's some miracle breakthrough or whatever. But I would wait for that to happen before buying the stock. All right, that's about all I have to say here. If something is growing too slow or doesn't look like it has, a positive growth future, I don't put buy prices on them. But you can look at the dividend yield and just say, okay, how long until they cut it, and compared to how long I can get my money back, and it's going to be, 7, 8, 9 years is probably what you're looking at. That's how long they're going to have to go for you to just get your money back via the dividend, and then you hope there's some value left in the stock at that point. I think it's a coin flip whether that turns out well or not at this point. So I would rather have the odds more in my favor. All right, thanks for watching. If you found this useful at all, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see everybody later.